Good camaraderie there from Michael Nielsen, acknowledging his fellow opponents.
That is Lin Kun Jan sitting next to him. He set the Asian record average in the first round and seated himself in this finals third. So Lin Kun Jan and Michael Nielsen sitting together on the red stage.
And both with the Pyraminxes scrambled in front of them. Simon Kellum, second seed, starting his first solve. Gets a 251. Looks like he couldn't quite one-look that solve, but 251 is solid.
It's a good way to start, but if you come into the finals with a sub-2 average, 2.5 is not a time you'd want.
And to his left, Shengzi Tang got a 218.
And Lin Kun Jan, your ace ASR holder, looked like he struggled just a little bit on pickup there. 2.9, he's not pleased with himself there.
Michael Nielsen still yet to do his first solve, taking his time to warm up and get in the zone.
It's a strategy that worked for him in the US Nationals finals where it came down to the last solve and he clutched out the win.
My fellow Kiwi Elias EU started off with a 233. And Diego Alfonso from France got a 222. Current fastest solve so far in this finals is from Huning Huang with a 189 single.
Michael Nielsen just inspecting now. We're also waiting on the first solve from Sebastian Lee. But Michael Nielsen at 2.09. Solid start for him.
That's solid. That's the second fastest to come in so far. Shengzi Tang with a 223. First person to finish their second solve. Sebastian Lee yet to do his first solve, taking his time to compose himself on the red stage now.
And a reminder, Sebastian Lee has come into this World Championships your first seed.
Getting himself a 155 average just a few weeks ago in Newcastle, in New South Wales, Australia. What can he do here? A good solve, a 186. Very solid. That is the fastest we have seen so far on the first solve.
Sebastian does well at handling himself under pressure. We've seen that as he came away as the Oceanic champion last year, defeating the world record holder at the time, Jasper Murray of New Zealand, for the title.
Simon Kellum got a 177 on the second solve. Harsha Paladugu with a 10. Counting a 3, so he's going to be out of the running. Jules Desjardins with a 2.1 on the second solve.
Michael Nielsen just getting ready. He's about to do his second solve. As is Lin Kun Jan sitting next to him. Reminder, he set the Asian record in the first round of this competition.
Shengzi Tang, the first to do the third solve, got a 145.
Okay, so Lin Kun Jan, he's now counting a 2.28. So counting a time that's over 2 seconds, where in this world's finals, your top 3 coming in sub 2. It's not putting himself in a fantastic position at the moment.
Elias with a 2.11. Shaking his head, but he is not out of the running yet. A 233, a 234, and a 211.
We have seen a new fastest solve in this final from Shengji Tang of China. On his third solve, he got a 1.45. The only other competitor, Elias, a 2.11 on that third scramble. Looks like it might be something good.
Simon got a 277 on the third. Now counting a 251, so he's most likely out of the running for that podium. Michael Nielsen starting his third solve now, or second solve. 175. Li Qi Li with a 133 on the third solve, counting a 175.
And to touch quickly on Huining Huang, all 3 of their solves have been sub 2 at the moment. So that puts him in the driver's seat now. That is a commanding position that he's in right now. Not having a single solve over 2 seconds.
It's anybody's game now.
Wening Huang, we will say, is in the lead for the time being. It will just have to come down on what he can do on his last two solves. But he's set himself up really well to come away your world champion. We'll have to see what happens next.
Lincoln Zhang with a 167 on that solve. Counting himself a 228, but he did start with that 296.
Shengji Tang of China has finished his fourth solve, a 1.95, which is counting. So he's now counting a 1.95 and a 2.18, hovering around that low 2-second mark.
Elias EU +2'd his fourth solve. Very disappointing for him, but if he gets a good solve on the last, he could get a very good placement.
Sebastian Lee is about to do his third. He's lagging a bit behind the most of this field, but he has set a 1.86 and a 2.07 on his first two solves. So let's not count out what he can do here. He can still set him up really, really well.
Taking his time to compose himself, doesn't want to rush things. It's been working so far. This third solve, we've seen a 1.33 on this scramble. And Sebastian definitely able to get that or faster. Inspecting now. A 179 for Sebastian. Consistently below that sub-2 threshold. Definitely in the running for a podium, if not better right now, if he can keep this up. Michael Nielsen getting a 177 on what I believe is the third solve. Elias finishing his average right now. What's he going to get? A 223. That is a solid average for Elias. That's going to be around 2.2. 2.33 for Elias. Considering this stage, that is very solid.
And the only other competitor to finish their average so far, Simon Kellum from the United States at 2.54. So Elias, of the ones who finished their average, in the lead. However, Shengji Tang gets his worst possible average, actually, a 2.87. Worst possible average, though, still 2.12, it looks like.
Lincoln Zhang with a 140 on that fourth solve. Counting a 1.67.
So that 2.12 average for Shengji Tang of China is actually a new personal record for him, and the 1.545 that he set on the third is a new personal record single. So performing really well by his standards in a world finals. Winning Huang 4 sub-2 solves in a row. 1, 1, 1, 1. We'll see what they're able to do once the time comes.
188 average. And it was worst possible, getting a 258 on the last.
1.88 average, that is dominant and quite a long way in the lead at the moment. And Li Kei Li from China, ending with a 2.29, gives her a 2.02 personal record average as well. We've seen three of the top 4 competitors getting new personal record averages in this finals.
Diego Alfonso solving on the blue stage with a 2.13. Sebastian Lee with a 165. He has already got, what does he have already? Worst possible is 191, so he hasn't won yet.
But this is close though. He's had a 1, a 2, and then 2 ones to follow that. His worst solve a 207, his worst possible average a 1.91. All he needs to do is get a solve that's just under 2 seconds, and he could come away as the world champion to follow up his Oceanic champion title.
It all comes down to the last few solves. Getting results coming in left, right, and center. A +2 for Michael Nielsen on a 138.
That's huge. And he knows.
If it wasn't for that +2, he would already be in first place with a 187, but it's not over yet.
Remember, Sebastian Lee coming into this competition, your #1 seed for the entire competition. It's not done for him just yet. He's just received his cube now. Sebastian Lee on the red stage.
Sebastian and Michael both have the possibility to take the first seed. It all comes down to this. Sebastian taking his time to compose himself. Surely he knows that he can get something good here.
Deep breath. Count to 10. Compose yourself. And do what you do.
He has been practicing for this moment, but nothing compares to the pressure of the last solve of a World Championship Finals.
It's crunch time. He's going.
Just missing that first place, a
All right,
191
that wraps up
average.
The final for Pyraminx. Oh, sorry.
It's
my
not
bad, my bad.
over yet,
Still
though.
one more.
He is in second place, which is amazing. Michael Nielsen still got one solve left. Everybody is watching him. If he gets his best solve, he will take the W by 0.01.
This is almost the exact situation that he was in at US Nationals. The last one to finish. All eyes were on him. This solve matters, and he must know it.
He's just got to put it past the +2. Got to move past it. If he gets his best solve now, he still wins.
In under 15 seconds, we will know who the world champion for Pyraminx is this year. Michael Nielsen.
Oh,
It's a 2.32 +2 again. It's his worst possible.
That
A
is
2.41. And he's even out of the podium.
That is devastating. So, third place, we've got Li Qi Li with a 202 PR average. Second place,
Okay,
Sebastian
now final
Lee,
for
191.
5x5.
And first place,
Please come to the
Huning
backstage
Huang
and submit
with
your
a
puzzles.
188 average.